All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. It is Tuesday. We got retail sales data in about an hour and 9 minutes. All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. All right, we're here. Let me get everything up and running. The nasdaq over 22,000 still, so that's good. Here's the NQ. Let me put this up. There we go. Still within the range that we were yesterday, because these are all the 4 levels that I had on my charts yesterday. Let me get some music playing here. Hold on. Yeah, so most of the attention is going to get turned to the Middle East today. I think that is what has really been driving markets this morning. The Middle East, all the stuff going on there. We made a couple posts about it on social media, but I try not to get too deep into it. But yeah. A lot of reports from conflicts overseas. There's still Israel and Iran tensions continuing. We are now in the 5th day of that. U.S. futures are mostly flat, honestly, since yesterday. We haven't really moved much. Tomorrow is the FOMC meeting as well. The market is closed on Thursday. So tomorrow we got the FOMC. The market's closed on Thursdays. Today we have retail sales data. You can see here is this morning. We are down slightly from the peak we put in yesterday. If we take a look at the SPY, it's probably a little bit easier to gauge stuff here. Here's the SPY. Very flat, really, for almost a week straight. Haven't really moved much. Nvidia is slightly green at 145s right now, so that's good. Yeah, watching 22,000 for sure. Yeah, definitely watching 22K, which is right around this blue line right here. 25 is a big level. It's been holding all morning as well. 50, 65, 63, previous high up there. You can see it confirmed multiple times. Honestly, we got a really easy range here, I think. The range is really obvious, right? Does the NASDAQ close red or green this week? This is going to be the question. All right, the poll is now live. Let me know how you feel there. All right, let me drink some coffee here, and we'll cover some of the breaking news. All right, so we're watching the 63 level. We just rejected underneath it. I might short this here real quick, to be honest, just because, like, we went over this level and then we rejected it. And so I'm going to take one, just one. And again, we're going to use the same strategy we used yesterday, which is that we get into the green, we're just going to add to these positions. If we don't get into the green, we're just going to leave it alone. Okay, we got enough into the green. We're going to add to this now. There we go. We got 50 underneath this. We're going to take half off there just because we can. We're going to hold the rest break even right there and cut it. All right, so green is good. We got a green trade out the book. Watching Nvidia here. We might come down to 50, but I wanted to just get a green trade in there. Yeah, so the president's administration is proposing steep tariffs on EU and pharma sector, along with reciprocal tariffs on imports. These moves exacerbate the trade war and heighten economic uncertainty. Reuters and other survey show that tariffs are dragging GDP forecasts down and raising recession odds to 45% this year. The backdrop limits the Fed's ability to ease soon, even if the market expects cuts this year. The Fed tomorrow is expected to hold rates steady and pause interest rates. They're not really expected to do anything else. If we take a look at bond yields this morning, I had the weirdest freaking dream, bro. Like, very vivid, very strange dreams. We're back down to 4.4%, which is pretty good. You know, we're still down. Yesterday we were up some, so down is good, I think. But you can see bond yields have been pretty sideways too. I mean, they're elevated from the stuff going on. Like, you can kind of see we spiked up and elevated. We're on day 5 of all the conflict news. But we see we elevated from the conflict news, and now we're basically just trending sideways in a range. We'll see what happens, though. Bond yields parallel interest rates. So if bond yields are up a little bit from this, it means a higher interest rate sentiment. It means people think we're going to have higher interest rates. We could also take a look at interest rate expectations here. And if we take a look at that, I mean, we looked at this yesterday. It is almost certain that we are going to pause rates tomorrow. 0.1% chance of a cut. 99.9% chance of a pause tomorrow. So it's not looking like we're going to cut anytime soon. If we take a look at June or July, still 85, 86% chance. Only a 14.5% chance of a cut in July. If we take a look at September, this is when most analysts think that we're going to start cutting rates. Almost 60% of them think we're going to cut 25 basis points by September. And if we add this, you know, we have about a 68.9% chance of some rate cut. If we combine these two, you know, together, we got about a 68.9% chance of a cut. Or I'm sorry. We have a we have a 68% chance of a cut by June. Of any size cut by September. 9.1% chance of a 50 basis point cut is what this means. Sorry. I gotta drink some coffee. My mind's running a little slow this morning. But yeah, it would be a 68% chance. So we'll see if that happens. Energy stocks are benefiting from all this drama overseas. If we take a look at oil is spiking up on potentially higher oil prices. Oil sitting just under $72 a barrel. We can take a look at gold. I'm sure gold's benefiting from this too. Yeah, gold up to 3,400s. Maybe down a little bit. Yeah, down a little bit in the last day or two, but still up a lot from the conflict stuff. Solar and renewables are suffering Sunrun down 27%, Enphase down 17% due to proposed credit rollbacks. Nuclear stocks might be gaining from tax incentives. We have biotech companies like Verve up 80% thanks to Eli Lilly acquisition news. AMD and Palantir rose. Nvidia dipped. We got retail sales, import prices may influence the Fed's market direction. We'll see. Yeah, geopolitical flare-up. Oil's up. Futures are down. Tariffs are intensifying uncertainty. Fed likely to pause, but later cuts still expected. And worsening Middle Eastern conflict stuff going on. So that is the news today. That's the story of the market today. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, Oracle has been a crazy mover here. Oracle at 209s. I'm going to put a timer up. We do have retail sales data today. So retail sales data today, it is expected at minus 0.6%. Core retail sales expected at plus 0.1%. All right, so I'm going to put this up so you guys can see it. There we go. So retail sales expected at minus 0.6%. Core expected at 0.1%. Import price index expected at minus 0.1%. It drops live here at 8:30 Eastern time. 8:30 Eastern time. We're in a very tight range, to be honest, right now. Oracle has gone crazy, though. There's no way people are telling me I should buy it. I'm not buying it right here. We'll see if it holds, but it's up very big. All right. All right, so we're retesting that 63 level that we talked about a lot yesterday. Again, you can kind of see, we talked about this already, but the SPY is basically flat and sideways over the past week straight here. So we're basically sideways. We're not really doing much. We haven't really gone anywhere. we're basically neutral from uncertainty from the stuff going on. I mean, it's the Fed week, and so it's not really a shock. And something that we get prior to the FOMC a lot of the time is sideways, choppy, neutral, boring action here. So and that's what we're getting. Now we're testing the top of that range. We broke over the 63 level. We put it a peak up here. This might be an isolated level that we could watch. This 85. I mean, it's up there, but we could watch it, see if it's the top of the range. We got out of this little short that we were in pretty close to the bottom, so I'll take it. We're 52. Yeah, pretty much 50-50 split. Red to green. John, what's your thoughts on Nvidia? I mean, Nvidia's had a rebound back up. Nvidia's pretty close to all-time highs, and I think we have a lot of people theorizing that the market might break all-time highs soon. It's hard to tell. I think if it does, it's going to be from like a driver like Nvidia, though. You know, so like if the market breaks all-time highs, it's probably because of something like Nvidia pushing up testing all-time highs as well. And the all-time highs on Nvidia are, what are they at, like 50 something? 53? Yeah. So all-time highs on Nvidia are at 53. Not that far away from where we're at now. You know? So we're pretty close to all-time highs on Nvidia. I think if it makes a push towards all-time highs, it might drag the market up. So I'm watching Nvidia in that regard for sure. We'll see what happens, though. We do have retail sales data today at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Did I put a timer up yet? I guess not. We have 50 minutes. Almost exactly 50 minutes. So here's the timer for that as well. Time's ticking by. Doesn't it make sense not to be long with anything because of the escalation potential? Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say don't go long. I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now over the next 24 to 48 hours. You know, in like 30 hours, we have the FOMC meeting. And so that could cause volatility in a lot of different ways. We got conflict news overseas that are kind of scaring people. Personally, I'm not really interested in buying up anything right now. It's also one of the reasons that we have kind of this sideways chop. You know, we got this kind of sideways, neutral, kind of boring price action here. So it's one of the reasons we got this sideways chop in markets right now. You know, like that's what's going on. Like, I went and saw the movie. I went and saw the movie How to Train Your Dragon yesterday. All right, so look at, here's 50. I kind of want to buy this level here. Hold on. I'm going to try to buy this. See if we get a pop right here. We got retail sales data. So, I mean, I think it makes sense. So far, so good, too. We'll just let it play out. I could add to this, but I don't know, man. We're going to add to it on the retracement here. And then maybe we'll take 2 contracts out of this. See if we bounce at 50 again. I took a little bit off here. We only got 3 contracts left. We're right here at the 200 exponential. We also have a pretty big psychological level, though, so I do want to give it a little time. We've had some pretty big red candles, so maybe we'll get some green ones, too. There's a bounce. See, I don't know if I like that, though. We just held my entry as resistance. I'm trying to be patient. The VIX is still over 20, though. The VIX is at 20.3s right now, so it's still over 20. There we go. That's better. I'm going to take just a piece of this off, break even here, and then let the last 2 contracts roll here, because then I can, like, sit on this longer. Yeah, still looking 60% likelihood of a cut by September, which is good. You know, we'll see if we actually hold, but like, we got the bounce at 50, but you guys know me, I don't really like playing with retests here. But I'm gonna let it retest. We're flat right now, basically, but 45 minutes until retail sales data comes out. I feel like I'd feel bad cutting it early, though, so I'm just gonna let it work a little bit here. All right, so Chinese President Xi says there are no winners in tariff wars or trade wars. Yeah, that's probably true. All right, dude, I'm trying to be patient here. Come on now. All right, we're green. Okay. There we go. Take half off there, lock that in. Okay. We'll push up more, maybe add some back to this. Like, we have the 200 EMA right here, but it is a little bit lower. I'd prefer it to push up and test 2263s up here. This is why I don't like the retest. The market's so sideways, though. I'll have to look for like a range-bound strategy based off of everything, because it's so flat right now. We're green, you know, but market's kind of indecisive here. Let's look at our chat. It was good. I mean, we knew everything that happened. I saw it with my kids. We knew everything that happened, you know. Like, that's the issue that I had with the movie, is that it's exactly the same. All right, guys. Hey, we got 45 minutes until retail sales data. 45 minutes. I'm trying to be patient here. A lot of people are on pause waiting for the news of today and tomorrow. Retail sales today, FOMC meeting tomorrow. Aside from that, it's pretty slow right now. We're just waiting for retail sales to come out at 8:30. We also have import data coming out at 8:30 as well. Yeah, but if they don't change the movie, it's basically just the same thing. If we break clean under 22.5, I'm going to cut it. 22.05. But I want to see if we bounce right now. Yeah, I'm just going to cut it here. We're basically flat. I mean, we're basically break even on the day right now. What's up, Brian? Yeah, AMD. The VIX is still over 20 though, chat. AMD over... Man, AMD's almost to 130s right now. 130s. Yeah, I mean, we could just buy this back if we really want to, if it pushes back over 22.5. I don't think holding it here makes any sense, though. Even if it does bounce, I think it's too high chance that it starts to retest this 200 exponential, which is what it's doing exactly right now. And so we might as well cut it early and get out and, you know, see what happens afterwards. Yeah, so we got some other stuff going on. We had some other stocks do earnings. We had like JBL post Q1 adjusted EPS 255 versus 229 expected, revenue of 7.8 versus 7 expected, so better than expected almost everywhere there. Yeah, Disney back up to 120s. So, it's just not really where I like buying Disney. I like buying Disney when it's at like 80, 90 bucks. Circle's crazy. It's been going crazy since its IPO. Yeah, I think the story is the DCA, but I'm not an investment professional, guys. I'm not liable if you lose. I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. Might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. Do not copy me. Not an investment professional. Understand all the stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything in markets. Don't copy me. Can't guarantee anything. Sometimes I trade and lose off stream and you might not see it. Not an investment professional. So we're at 46 here. I kind of want to buy the 200 exponential dip. Maybe I'll try. We'll start with one. All right, scale in here. Nice. Nvidia back over the previous closing price, so that's good. Maybe that'll give it some support. We could also watch like AMD too, but all right, so we're green. Not the most green, but somewhat green. I'm gonna add to this. The range is so small here, though. Like, there's not a lot of profit to make, to be honest. Like, it seems like it pushes up really deep in my favor, but really it's just a couple ticks, and it's not really any profit. I mean, we're green, but I'm going to have to up my size today if the range stays this small ahead of the FOMC meeting. Alright. I guess I'm just going to cut this here green, but... AMD's interesting, I think, but if I bought it, it would be like a DCA strategy where I'm going to DCA into it long term. Short term, I don't know what it's going to do. It's up a lot, but I mean, the market's back. The market's rebounded back up a lot too. So for me personally, though, I mean, I don't know. When you look at AMD and we look at a deeper trend here, if we look like a weekly chart, I mean, or a yearly chart, I should say, AMD was almost at 200s back here. Dipped pretty big for the last year straight, and now it's back up some. And so is that the time to buy it? I don't know. Maybe. Not going to tell you yes or no. What's some companies to own long term? I don't know which companies you should own long term. There's a couple that I like, though, that I think are really cheap right now. But I think there's also some risk. Like, Target seems cheap, but there's risk. Just because people buy things online a lot now, and that dynamic is going to continue and get worse over time because of the internet and mail order goods and Instacart and stuff like that. People are going to start selling things more and more online, and if they don't pivot to doing that heavily, I guess they probably are already. But my point is, Target seems like a good dip here. What's the PE ratio of Target? Under 11 is the current PE ratio for Target. That seems to be a pretty cheap dip, but who knows, man? Who knows what TGT is going to do? Yeah, I mean, Pepsi seems interesting. It's down a lot, but I would probably prefer KO as a company, just because it's a bigger name, more reliable. But who knows, man? Who knows? It's definitely not as extended on the downside. Again, I'm not an investment professional. I can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. I mean, I like Apple long term, and I think Apple's on a dip right now, like a longer term dip. Apple's been pulling back, hit 260s in December. It's now at 190s. So Apple on a dip seems interesting. Microsoft's ripping up, breaking all-time highs. I don't know if I'm a fan of buying that right now. Same thing with Meta. Meta's over 700 right now. Google seems interesting, like it's in a consolidation period. Now, when I talk about all these blue chips, I'm talking about long-term. I'm not talking about short-term, because I don't know what the heck's going to happen long-term. Another one that I like is Home Depot. Home Depot is more resilient to mail order dynamics than a lot of other companies, because when people go buy home improvement stuff, they almost never order it online. They almost always go to the store, they buy wood, they buy, yard patio furniture, they buy all these different things, and they want it now. They're not going to order it. They usually buy it same day. And so that dynamic creates resiliency in Home Depot, I think. And so when Home Depot pulls back big, I like it. I got to see what the PE ratio is, though. Again, I'm not telling you to buy it. I have no freaking idea what any of these do. But this is just kind of arguments that I use for some of these. PE ratio of Home Depot, 23. 23, not bad. Pretty decent for a lot of companies right now. All right, so look at the NASDAQ rip up here. Maybe I could have held that 200 exponential play, but... yeah, Pepsi's okay. I mean, they pay a divvy. I can respect it. Tesla, I like Tesla, but I think Tesla is volatile. Very volatile. And I think it's very easy. My wife had Tesla in one of her portfolios, and she was asking me some, asking me about it. And what I told her, she was getting pressure for some other people to sell Tesla at like 220. And I remember telling her, if it was me, I'd buy more personally, because like, look, when something dips like that, regardless of the stock, I know Tesla's a little bit more polarized as a company, right? Especially in the last few years with Elon, political Elon. And I'm not even agreeing with that. But Tesla as a company is a little bit more volatile. But companies like this, the worst time to sell is when they're pulling back like that. That's usually when people end up being upset they sold at the wrong time. The people who lose the most in stock market crashes are people who get emotional and sell when markets are crashing down, right? Like they sell when the markets are down 10, 20, 30%. Those are the people who do the worst in market crashes. The people who do the best are typically people that are adding on the pullbacks. They're adding on the dips. They're DCAing into it in periodic buys. So like whichever way you want to do it. But you don't want to get stuck in the fear. You got a lot of people that just preach doom and gloom about everything. Some of it's politically related. Others is just they missed out on a lot of these big bull runs, and so confirmation bias tells them the market's not going to hold and they didn't miss out on anything. The reality of it is the market's going to go up a huge amount over time, and if you're buying blue chip companies, most of the time you just want to DCA into those companies as long as you think they're going to be consistently profitable and all that good stuff. But it's subjective. Everybody's different. You can buy just an index. It's probably the easier way. PE ratio is price to earnings ratio, William. All right, guys, NASDAQ over 22s, held at that 200 exponential level right here, still pushed up. We got 30 minutes until retail sales data, so 30 minutes. But with that said, like Tesla is volatile. It's volatile. And what's ironic is that like my wife was getting pressure from like a bank. The bank was telling her to sell. And we hadn't heard from them since Tesla went up 80% from where it was, for when they told us that, basically. And so maybe not 80%. I don't know what that percentage is, but interesting. And to be fair, they're probably playing some type of like risk management. They're trying to be risk averse. All right, so we're starting to get a dip here. Here's 2063. I would buy this dip. I'm really thinking about buying it. But if we do chop sideways today and tomorrow, we're at the top of the range. It's the only thing I'm worried about. Where did the numbers come from? It's the price to earnings ratio. To get a PE ratio, you do this. You add up the last 4 quarter EPS, and then you divide that number by the price of the stock. Right? So it's basically how much the company is making a year versus the price of the stock per share. And thus, it gives you the PE ratio. Yeah, I mean, EVs, I don't know, man. They might be losing some numbers. It's possible. You know. I'm just using Tesla as an example. Like, you could swap any other blue chip company out. SOFR rate showed up at 4.32% versus 4.28% on June 13th on Monday. Or on Friday. You know who it's a scary time for? Programmers. Programmers right now are having a tough time, dude. I'm telling you. Like, programmers, imagine spending 20 years learning systems in programming, like Boolean values, conditional statements, variables, like all these different systems in programming. And then imagine AI comes out 3, 4, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, really. And it basically does everything you can do faster, you know. I'm not saying we don't need programmers still, because you need a lot of it is spaghetti code, but it still does it just like good enough to where a lot of people are jumping on board with stuff, you know. All right, so look at the NASDAQ hit 85s. Maybe I should have bought this little dip here. We're running into 85s though. We're watching this level. AMD's still ripping up. Nvidia's pushing up. Hey, look. Nvidia holding support at the previous close. We are rejecting a little bit at this 85 level we have on our charts. Again, we got 25 minutes until retail sales data goes live, chat. Tomorrow's the FOMC meeting. Hey, what's up, Faye? JG. Yeah, no, I believe machine learning, but that's a very specific set of like programming skills. Like an example of this is like I know React Native, JavaScript, like vanilla JavaScript, React Native, and some other systems, which is mostly like a front end application. Like React is kind of like you create applications. You can create mobile with React Native, you can create regular with React, and you're just kind of creating applications. AI can do all that stuff now. Like, I could probably tell AI right now, yo, create me a React Native application, smartphone, Android application that creates a function and does this, and this. And AI will do it, I'm sure. I haven't tried, but I'm sure AI will do that right now. And so you're still going to need, like, engineers to watch it and to fix the code when it messes up, which is probably pretty common now. But I think in 10, 20 years, the code's going to be much better. And it's going to render a lot of these programmers, especially front-end developers, obsolete. And this is coming from a front-end developer. I mean, it's not my main thing, but, like, this is coming from a front-end developer. Yeah. It's going to pose some problems, for sure. But more jobs will be created in other ways. Like, that's the nature of technology evolution. Yeah. AI is going to be there within 20 years. Time. 100%. AI is going to be there in like 20 years. Probably less than that, really. Like they're gonna have AI start to test things, and then they're gonna have engineers that watch the test results and maybe test those confirm those is a better word for it. Like, they're going to have all that stuff within 20 years. Honestly, and not to pivot to a more deeper thing, but I watched a video the other day, and it was a really interesting take on it, and it brings it to like the simulation theory. That basically the simulation theory states that if it's possible for us to one day create a simulation that is as real to our eyes and senses as what we currently see right now and experience ourselves, then it's actually much more statistically probable that we are in that simulation already. You know, and you got to question, like, how many layers is there? And then I saw a video about how No Man's Sky, you know, which is a game that artificially, or that generates worlds, and it's like a universe video game where you can fly around, go to different planets. The planets are generated themselves. The universe, or the you know, everything's generated themselves automatically now, and they're thinking about putting AI beings in that game. They're thinking about planting AI beings in that game, and they theorize, they're like, well, what if those people start questioning where they came from? You know, like, how did they get here? And then it kind of puts everything into perspective. If AI gets to a point, it's plausible. It's plausible. And I think that's an interesting, scary thing for a lot of people, you know. All right, so look at this. We did reject right here at 85. You have to question where trading goes even, you know. If the algorithms get good enough, it's going to be a race, 100%. All right, so we're rejecting here. We're at 85s. Yeah, see, we drew this 85 level this morning. The reason we drew it is because of this kind of like isolated high up here. And look at this. We went right up to it, rejected it. Now we're really back down. Let's see if there's any news here, though. We got 20 minutes until the other news comes out. If we don't have news, I might buy this little dip. Here, we'll try. We'll buy one, and then we'll add down to 63, which has been a pretty good level for the last few days, but you never know. But all right, that's a pretty big pop up. We'll just go ahead and take some profit into that and let the rest ride. Hold the rest break even now. There we go. All right, we'll take it. Green is good. Got the little dip here. Maybe could have held a little bit more, but we're just kind of building up a small cushion first. All right, so we did our poll. Our poll is honestly pretty 50-50 split, 51% I think. I'm going to end this poll, and we're going to do retail sales data. Are you bullish or bearish on today's retail sales data? Go to the poll. Innovations for U.S. stablecoins. The bill focused on regulating them. Aims to establish a federal framework for stablecoin issuers. AI makes code. Yeah, I mean, it definitely produces spaghetti code right now, but that's going to get better, I'm telling you. Like, that's one of the more fixable AI things right now. Where, yeah, it's spaghetti right now, but it's going to get better. 100%. And it has gotten better. I've been playing with it since it came out. It is way better right now than it was a year and a half ago. Way better right now than it was a year and a half ago. So, and that's going to continue to be the case. What do you think of Roku? I think Roku solves the problem, but it's also replaceable. And since it's been replaceable, they have been replacing it, meaning like Roku can create a software that consolidates everybody's login information for different streaming applications and gives them a one-stop shop for it. But TVs can as well. And TVs eventually are going to just build the same thing and render some of Roku obsolete. They already have. And so I think when things started pivoting towards software versus hardware, Roku lost a lot of hype and a lot of attention. But it still solves the problem, and so it's still public and it's still out there. But I don't know. I've always been a little skeptical of it. All right, guys, retail sales data. You can see the expected numbers right here. So we got the expected retail sales data numbers right here. So again, retail sales data expected at minus 0.6 expected. Core retail sales showed. Core retail sales is expected at 0.1%. Import price index is the other one. So we got import price index, retail sales, and core retail sales. All right, so we're testing that 85 level again. SPY back over 600s. Nvidia's pushing up almost to 145, so that looks good. Waiting for market news to drop this morning, but it's a little bit quiet ahead of the Fed meeting. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at other breaking news this morning. We don't have anything. I think markets are all mostly waiting for retail sales. All right, chat, we got 14 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it's the day before the FOMC meeting. So a lot of the time we get choppiness ahead of that, in all honesty. But we'll see, maybe. I mean, we did a poll number asking people, are you bullish or bearish on today's retail sales data? 58% are bullish, 42% are bearish out of 100 and something votes pretty quickly. Yeah, AMD's running up to almost 130s. The NASDAQ did break 85s. We're right back up. We're at 89s now, 88s. So we got 22.1 here, which was a level yesterday on the NASDAQ that we're watching. So we got this level here on the NQ that we're watching pretty closely. And so, yeah, we're going to watch that. Remember, the market's closed Thursday. Tomorrow's the Fed meeting. Today we also have the Atlanta Fed GDP now for quarter 2. It's expected at 3.8%, which indicates that they think it's going to be a positive quarter. I'm sure when core is actually expected at 0.2%, regular is expected at 0.5%, import price index expected at minus 0.2% too. So we'll see if that holds. But all right, so we rejected here at 85 again. Is it worth shorting this? I don't know. Not. I mean, we got 13 minutes. Maybe there's a trade to get in. Enphase is down right now, probably because of weakness in oil. Or higher oil prices, weakness and everything else. But at least that's the reason AI gave me. Okay, so this has to do with a bill. I'm sorry. So high interest rates reduce net metering in Cali or suppressing installations. Politicians proposed in the big beautiful bill a phase out of wind and solar tax credits by 2028, accelerating the current schedule now, starting cutbacks in 26 instead of 2032. And so less credits for solar. And Enphase is down pretty significantly percentage-wise on that news. So that's what's going on. So Thailand exempted crypto capital gains tax for 5 years. That's good news. All right, guys, we're pretty close here. We got 10 minutes. NASDAQ back down. Looks like a McDonald's sign at this point in time, so we'll see. I mean, I think the market wants strong economics today, but who knows? You never really know. It could go either way here, to be honest. Yeah, check out our Discord. There's the link right there. Great way to help support the channel. We appreciate the support. All right, so we're dipping down. We're at 2274s. Here, I gotta change the song. All right, we're pretty split, 60-40 roughly on these votes with retail sales data. Yeah, you're welcome. Good news on solar. Yeah, I'm torn about whether I think solar panels are going to be a good investment for most households. Of course they tell you they are, but they have a conflict of interest saying, of course they are, but I don't know. All right, so we're about to back up. We put a lower or a higher high here. 8.5 minutes left. We got about 1,000 here, so hey, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Retail sales today, the FOMC meeting tomorrow. So All right, we're back up to 85s. I don't know how I want to behave here. It looks strong. We put in a higher low. SPY is still sitting over 600s. I think that's good. If the SPY can hold over 6, I think that's an optimistic thing for markets. You know, a couple weeks, like a week and a half ago, I think it was JP Morgan said that they think that we are going to break all-time highs within a couple weeks. Now, I don't know if we're going to get that. I think the conflict news overseas kind of hurt that possibility, but we could run. We'll see. Yesterday we had weaker manufacturing data show up, so most states have a 5 to 10 year return on investment on solar panels last 30 years, 25 manufacturing warranty. Manufacturing warranties are very known to be a little bit subjective, I guess is the easiest way to put it. The issue that I have is that in 20 years, the kind of solar panels that we're going to have are going to be much more powerful. And so it's kind of like financing a car for 20, you know, you can finance a car. In 10 to 15 years, your car is going to feel very old, you know. And so while I understand it might still save them money, I think people are going to be window shopping the newest and best technologies in 10, 20, 30 years, especially in regards to solar. And so I'm just skeptical of it, especially if they're doing it door to door. You know, I think people are wholesaling it, locking people in with finance, like a lot of stuff. So you just got to be careful. Silver's been breaking out for the last few days. Gold's close to all-time highs as well. Here's gold. Although gold's flat this morning, silver 37s. So silver up to 37s. NASDAQ trying to get over that 85 level. AMD's been running. Look at it, AMD. Look at that steep rise at AMD. Almost to 130s. 50 cents under it. Yeah, but houses appreciate generally. Sheep. So houses appreciate generally. Well, solar panels? I don't know. I don't know it well enough to know. I don't know. I just know I'm skeptical. But I'm a natural... I'm a natural skeptic. So... I'm going to be skeptical of everything, basically. Alright, we're up to 129.50s. Here we go. We got less than 5 minutes before retail sales data drops. All right, guys, we got 4 minutes left. 4 minutes. A little bit over 4 minutes, but still, this timer's pretty accurate. We got about 20 seconds. It's 20 seconds early, though. All right, guys. Retail sales data going live. We'll see if it influences the market. It should. And then we have also import-export price data. We got industrial production capacity utilization data. Is this at 9:15? Yeah. And then we got the Atlanta Fed GDP now. They expect 3.8% this year. So all right, here we go. I'm going to put gold up here. I want to see what gold does on this retail sales data. Here's the SPY on the top right, NASDAQ on the left here. 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. All right, Chad, we got 3 minutes. Yeah, you might be right, Bunny. All right, we got 2 minutes. We'll see. Oh, dude, my eye. Ugh. My eye, dude. Felt like something flew in it. All right, so we're rejecting here. We're at 2280s, 22.08. All right. All right, guys, get ready for retail sales data. We got a minute and a half left. I hope it's good. I generally want the market to go up. Like, I mostly want the market to go up. Rejecting again at 85. Gold, 34s. SPY, 600s. So we're kind of at big levels for all this stuff, too. I mean, there's always a question whether the report's going to be good or not. Nobody knows. And in fact, the people who are the most confident in the outcome of the report are usually the most wrong. So, nobody freaking knows. We're just going to have to wait and see. We got 1 minute left. 1 minute. Retail sales data less than a minute. Hit the live button next to the play button. You could also put it in 2x speed. Just make sure you hit the live button first, and it shouldn't lag or anything like that. Yeah, we got triple witching Friday. We got FOMC Wednesday. Markets closed Thursday. And then with that, we also have jobless claims on Thursday since the market's going to be closed on we have jobless claims on Wednesday since the market's going to be closed Thursday. So it's actually like an interesting dynamic this week. 30 seconds, guys. Hit the live button next to the play button. This timer's actually a little bit early. We really got about 25 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button, chat. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here's the report. Okay, guys, retail sales minus 0.9, weaker than expected. Minus 0.9 versus minus 0.5 expected. Minus 0.9 versus minus 0.5 expected. Minus 0.3 for core retail sales. Again, minus 0.3 for core, minus 0.5 for, or minus 0.9 for regular. So minus 0.9 for core, or minus 0.3 for core, minus 0.9 for regular. Import data showed up at 0%. 0% versus 0.2% expected. Minus 0.9. And then minus 0.3 versus minus 0.2 expected. Market's down on this report. Again, as we said, minus 0.9 versus minus 0.5 expected. Weaker than expected everywhere. And the NASDAQ did not like this report. We are down pretty big on this report. Not a huge drop, though. I mean, we're still pretty flat leading into FOMC tomorrow. But, yeah, retail sales data, minus 0.9%, chat. Not necessarily good, I would say. Here's the data right here. Market is reacting negatively to it. There's the data on the bottom of the screen. You can see it. Where's the music? There it is. Yeah, maybe the first move is the wrong move. We are right here at the 200 exponential here, but we got weaker economic reports. Let's take a look at bond yields. Gold down a little bit. Bond yields opening up red again today, but kind of spiked a little bit on this data, which is the opposite effect I would have. We have weaker retail sales showing weaker economy, more likely that we need to cut rates. Not probable, but more likely or more probable. Just weaker economics means more justification in rate cuts. It doesn't mean it's likely going to happen, though. But again, weaker than expected retail sales. You can see the report at the bottom of the screen. Check it out. We're starting to pop up. We'll see if we hold here. We're starting to pop up a little bit. All right, look at this rebound back up here. Interesting. And again, guys, if you want to help support the channel, we've been day trading all day on Topstep's funded account program. They give you a 50K demo. They test your skill with it. This is a 50K funded account, 90% split once funded. Very similar to funding your own account if you could pass their test. If you fail their test, you're out $50 for the base one, $100 for the middle one, $150 for the top one. Your risk is limited. It's not the end of the world if you lose versus funding your own account like a lot of traders, 5, 10, 20, 30 grand and losing that. It makes no sense. You know, you could either fund your own account trying to look cool. You can try this. If you get funded, you get to keep your first 10K in profit, 90% split afterwards. And they pay out millions, fund thousands. They're one of the most legit ones in the world. And if you use my link, go to TopstepX, you get 0 commission. If you day trade futures, most pro day traders day trade futures. And you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, Russell, gold, currencies in some places. Just a great way to learn how to trade. And most day traders lose. Learning in this environment makes sense as well because most day traders lose money. And so you can either learn in a structured environment where if you lose, it's not the end of the world. And if you pass it, it's pretty similar to funding your own account. Or you could fund your own account thousands and thousands of dollars and risk that because you think you're going to be some like savant, which is probably not going to happen. Let's just be real here for a second. And so again, if you want to check it out, they are an affiliate of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them. Understand all this stuff on screen, CFTC 4.41, understand all that stuff. I might trade and lose off stream. You might not see it. Not an investment professional. I don't even claim to be a good trader. Don't copy me. And understand all this stuff on screen right now. With that said, out the way, though, the market is down. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link up right there. I'll also pin it to the top of the chat. You can also find it in the description. All right, let's see if we hold. We started to rebound, and then we dipped all the way back down here, though. So we started to go back up, and then we dipped back down. I'm going to short it, I guess. We're green on the day. We got a cushion, so we're going to try shorting it, and then if we get green, we'll add to it. Is the plan right now. All right, we'll add a little bit more to it here. There we go. It's better. Okay. All right, we'll take half off there. Lock that in. That's good. We can hold the rest break even. If it heads back up, we'll just hold it flat and we're out. We made a little bit, I think, on that one, but that retracement was quick. And again, we are at the day before the FOMC meeting, chat. So it is a kind of a day where you got to be careful. Yeah, so we got retail sales data. It's out. We'll see what else we get. But, yeah, retail sales data is out. All right, so we're starting to pop back up. Look at bond yields. So we're at 4.4% even right now, basically. SPY still over 600. Yeah, we'll see what we get today. Look how sideways we are here, though. We're not really doing anything. We'll do another poll. Are you bullish or bearish for the opening bell today? Powell's speech today? No. Motor vehicle dealers and auto parts down a little bit over 3%, put a big drag on it. Yeah, we're going to break down the retail sales report right now. Yeah, advanced monthly retail sales minus 0.9%. We gotta check June. What's today? The 17th, yeah. Monthly retail sales inventories were revised April 25th to reflect historical corrections. I think this one dropped today. Yeah, I mean, we can take a look at all of it here. Markets are very flat afterwards, though. Again, it's probably something where we're going to stay flat. Again, minus 0.9% retail and food service sales. All right, so we did test the 63 level. Let's rebound back up to 75. Yeah, so it says total sales for March through 25th through May period were up 4.5% from the same period a year ago. Retail trade sales were down 0.9% from April and up 3% from last year. Non-store retailers up 8.3% from last year. Food service and drinking places up 5.3% from May. All right, so I'm having AI break it down. So total sales reached 715 billion, a 0.9% decrease, but 3.3% higher than year over year. March to May quarterly period with a 4.5% year over year increase. April's previously reported small gain of 0.1% positive was revised to a 0.1% decrease. Retail sales were down 0.9%, up 3% year over year. Non-store online retailers led with an 8.3% rise, showing e-commerce growth. So basically, there's more e-commerce brands growing. Look at the nasdaq rip up here. Yields are down a little bit too. Motor vehicle parts and delivery sales went down 3.5% month over month, but still up 2.5% year over year. Furniture and home furnishings 1.2% up, 8.8% year over year growth. Electronics and appliance stores down 0.6% month over month, down almost 2% year over year. Building materials and garden supplies retailers dropped 2.7% with a slight 1.1% year over year decline. Grocery stores saw a slight 0.8% decrease month over month, but still up 2.3% on the year. Gas stations dropped 2%, still down almost 7% year over year. And yeah, there's a couple other small ones, but the bottom line is that retail and food sectors are showing solid year-over-year growth, key strength in e-commerce, dining, and health and personal care. Monthly data reveals softness in vehicles, fuels, building materials, and electronics. So if you want a little bit more detail, you can give me a follow at Beginner Trades. We're going to post all this stuff live so you can kind of see it. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm yeah, so again, we're going to post this on our X page. You can give me a follow at Beginner Trades. NASDAQ's still very sideways. Again, my plan on the day is to attack choppiness. You know, like I'm looking to attack chop because we got the day before the FOMC meeting. I think that's when we're going to have sideways chop. All right, so yeah, we just posted this on our X page. Took a little while to break down. We're basically flat from when this report came out. The report came out right here at 81s. We're at 79s right now. So, again, we're also going to do another poll here. Well, we're going to look for range-bound trades is what we're going to look for, is what I mean by that. Like, we're going to look for range-bound trades. Yeah, I mean, it only makes sense. With being the day before the FOMC meeting, most of the time we get sideways. Like, sometimes it's a big range, but most of the time we get sideways stuff. Yeah. U.S. retail sales year over year was 3.29%. Previous was 5.16%. All right, we just rejected 85s. I might short this again. Let me see. They dropped a little bit too much too quickly here. I was thinking about shorting it, but we'll look for a retracement back up. I'll try to short into this now. We give it a little time here. Maybe add to this and take a little risk. We got a good cushion on the day, but there we go. That's nice. Do I want to add to this again? Probably not. I'm going to cut half of this here and just protect the trade so I'm still green on the day. Let the rest ride a little bit maybe, but I want to build up a cushion first on the day, and so that's what we're trying to do. We're green on the day too. See if we can break down some more here. I'm going to cut that right there. So we made a little bit there on that trade. I wanted down to the 63 level, and it just kind of broke down quickly. We still jumped into some of the momentum, but yeah, I always watch Nvidia. I watch Nvidia and Apple on the 1 minute a lot. It's not spam. Alright, so we just tapped the 200 exponential. We're still in this middle range here. We're starting to see some deep action, though. Alright, so we have some breaking news that UK Prime Minister Starmer's business advisor Chandra is going to travel to the US for the next round of trade talks, according to Financial Times. The UK is aiming for a pharmaceutical and steel deal with the US by July. We'll see if they get it or not. Yields are starting to push up a little bit now. Not a big amount. We're at 4.41%, but still moving up a little bit for yields. SPY's moving down. It's under $600 a share right now for the SPY. Nasdaq still falling down here. We're at 57s. All right, so we're dipping down. We're at 22.58 now. We just broke under that 200 exponential here. Tesla, Bitcoin. Where's Bitcoin at right now? I haven't even really looked at Bitcoin, to be honest. Bitcoin down some. Was at 109s this morning. It's all the way down to 105s now. So Bitcoin was doing really good early. Yeah, all good. Yeah, all good, sharp. Yeah, that's why I just deleted 2 of them and left the other one. We tapped 2050 here. I am looking at this level. Yields are still climbing. They're at 4.4, almost 4.42% right now. SPY still dipping some. We had the New York Fed business survey for June show up at minus 13.2 versus minus 16.2 previously. Not the biggest release still, but we got industrial production numbers in 24 minutes as well, though. All right, so we're starting to break down. We're at 22.5s. All right, we're at 50s right now. 50s. Look at the bounce right there. I don't know whether I want to short this or not. We might reject at the 200 exponential and come back down though, so I'm going to wait. JP Morgan client treasury surveys, active clients up longs and kept shorts at 0. So most people are getting bullish and optimistic now. Are y'all bullish or bullish or bearish right now, chat? Let me know in chat. Bullish or bearish right now? Let me know. Looks like most people are saying bullish right now. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Bearish, bull, bear. Market's going to 0. Bullish, bull, bull, bear, sideways. S&P. Bearish because meetings tomorrow will scare people. Maybe. I don't know. I think we're going to pause. I think Powell's going to say something along the lines of uncertainty, inflation is still above our 2% inflation target. We're going to wait and see, data dependent. We're not going to answer anything, and we're going to be data dependent is what I think we're going to say tomorrow. I think it's pretty overwhelmingly probable that Jerome Powell is going to pause rates, and so that attention is going to pivot to what he says during the press conference, and I think he's going to be very reluctant to give any type of outlook is what I think. So the Rolls-Royce CEO says it is even more true that they would like to enter the narrow body market, preferably via a partnership, and discussions with multiple partners do not see new craft before 2035. 2035, bro. You're talking about a decade out, dude? Yes, I just called Rolls-Royce dude. Come on now. Tell us with like 2 years to go, not 5, 10, you know? All right, so I'm going to end this poll. I'm waiting to see if we hold this 2050 level. We'll play it if we do. How likely is a rate cut going to happen? Tomorrow? I think it's like 0.1% chance. Like 10% of a percentage point. So it's not very probable, no. All right, so China's president and Central Asian leaders signed declaration of cooperation. Well, today's opening bell, be bullish or bearish? Vote on the poll. Let me know what you guys think. Powell's going to say nothing. Yeah, I think he's going to say nothing. I mean, I think he's going to say something, but he's going to frame it as nothing, you know? Like, basically, I think what he's saying is he doesn't feel like cutting rates. That's what I think he's really saying by not saying anything. And I think he's going to get some questions pushed at him like, hey, inflation's under control. Why aren't we cutting rates? And he's going to say, I don't know when we're going to cut rates, you know. We're going to wait and see what the data shows. And so I think that's what it's going to look like. All right, NASDAQ under 2050s. Maybe we'll short a little pop-up here. If we rebound at 2050s, we'll short that. There we go. There's 2050s. Yikes. I could redo the 200 exponential short. I guess I'm going to try that. Maybe got in a little bit early. I want to see 2050 hold though. There we go. I'm going to take half of this off. Too much risk. It pushed up too much against me originally. I was hoping it would reject at 2050. And it just didn't. So I'll give it a little bit more time, but still got 30 minutes before the opening bell today. Now it's got to get under 2050. I don't like it as much, to be honest. 22's down there, though. So if we get down to 22, I'm going to buy that, I think. But I don't mind looking at a short here. We'll just keep it really tight, though. I'm going to hold this break even. I don't really feel like giving too much back to the market. Like, one of the things you've been seeing me do today, people are like, oh, why are you holding 5-second trades? And it's like, well, one thing that you'll see me do is, like, I'll jump in, and if it doesn't hold the level that I want it to hold, I'll get out immediately. And so it might be a really short-term trade. If it does go immediately in my favor, I'll take profit. But something I did here is just I got in. Here was my break-even level. It broke down a little bit and looked like it might start trending down, and if that was the case, I would have held it, but it just ended up ripping back over my break-even level, and so I got out the rest break-even. And I'd rather get out break-even and give it a chance to run if it goes in my favor, but the market's so choppy and sideways and kind of neutral today, it's just hard to, you know, it's hard to hold. Is the argument about the interest payments on current debt a valid argument to cut rates? I mean, yeah. But you need a lot more than that. And, you know, inflation is going to chip away at the debt over time. And remember, tomorrow we have retail sales data. Or no, I'm sorry. Today we had retail sales data show up weaker than expected. Basically everywhere weaker than expected. Yeah, maybe we got faked out on this one, but that's alright. Redbook showed up at 5.2%. 5.2% for Redbook. That's out. Look how choppy we are, though. All right, we got 30 minutes left until the market opens. We'll see what we get. I hope we get some good bullish action. Honestly, I hope we do break all-time highs. I don't think we're going to, but I hope we do. All right, so now we're back up. There's 63s. Do we reject the 63s? I don't know. Rolls Royce talking about narrow body. What does he mean by narrow body? All right, so we did reject at 63s. $200 exponential rejection here, though. Look at the SPY. SPY rejected the 200 EMA and the volume weighted average price. I think we got to put Nvidia up. I've been watching bond yields, but Nvidia influences the market a lot, too. AMD is a crazy one as well. There's no good price action today, though, man. It's kind of boring. We did a poll. We asked people, are you bullish or bearish for the opening bell? 60% are bearish today for the opening bell. Interesting. Futures close at noon on Thursday. They might. I don't know. Tomorrow's a half day. Or no. Let me look. Futures open Thursday. Futures market will be closed Thursday, June 19th for the holiday. Stock market, bond markets will be closed, including futures. Equity and interest rate futures halt at 12 noon Central on Thursday, reopen at 5. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's a half day for futures. So it looks like the market's open on Thursday. It's just a half day, right? I thought I saw something that said it's fully closed, but I'm trying to see if the stock market is open, because that's really... Stock market will be closed and observe its... Alright, now I gotta look at the Wall Street Journal here. You're trying to make me subscribe, bro? Get out of here, Wall Street Journal. I think I got a subscription. I just don't know where it's at. Alright. Markets will close on Thursday. Both stock and bond markets will close Thursday. Both will resume normal operations Friday. Stock trading. Independence Day stock markets will end early at 1 p.m. So, chat. Not tomorrow, Thursday, I'm sorry. Where is Tesla right now? Nvidia started to test that previous closing price. It looks bearish, to be honest, for me. But still kind of in a choppy neutral range here. We got about 23 minutes until the market opens. We'll see how that treats us. Okay, so the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ are fully closed for the day. No trading at all. Bond markets are also completely closed. CME Group, E-mini, NASDAQ, no regular trading during the day. So I'm showing basically everything. Like, they open up at 5 o'clock, basically. So stock market and bond markets are going to be completely closed. Futures trading will not run normally, but we'll return in the late evening on Thursday is what I'm showing here. So that is what we got for them. All right, so we are breaking down under that 2250 level, but it's been kind of a staggered breakdown here. Not easy to make profits. All right, so LSU Baseball does play today at 10 a.m. Central. And this looks weak. All right, we're going to try. We're going to take 3. Just going to leave it. I don't think I'm going to take bigger size here. Bitcoin is falling. Yeah, it got up to almost 109 today, though, for Bitcoin and Bitcoin futures. When pawn? On Thursday? So you think they're going to be trading normal market time on Thursday? I don't know. What I read, they were fully closed. And I even got an email from Topstep, I think, that said they're fully closed. And again, if you want to check out Topstep, beautiful way to help support the channel. You can see how similar this is to day trading stocks. Like, I could buy market, sell market, all that good stuff. No PDT rule in futures. Day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies if I wanted to. No PDT in futures. It's a beautiful way to learn. And the patterns in futures are very similar to day trading, like blue chip stock patterns. Most pro day traders trade futures because there's less red tape, no PDT rule. And it's just a beautiful way to learn how to day trade in a funded account program like this. $50 a month is what the base one costs. If you pass it, you get a $50K funded account, a 90% split once you're funded. You get to keep your first $10K prior to that split kicking in, and then 90% split afterwards. So that's pretty similar to funding your own account, but learning in the structured environment with some risk, but not risking tens of thousands of dollars like a lot of people end up doing, just makes the most sense to me. All right, we're going to go to cut some of this. That just makes the most sense to me. And again, no PDT in futures. You can check it out pinned to the top of the chat. I can put the link up here if you want to check it out as well. Again, great way to help support the channel. There's the link right there. So we're up in this trade, but we're very close to flat. I'd love to see a breakdown, but the market's so sideways right now in anticipation of the opening bell. We got less than 20 minutes, though, so maybe we'll get something good. Nah, I don't like this. Like, every day we've been pretty green heading into the opening bell. Today's the first day where I'm a little red. It just hasn't been easy to make money, in all honesty. We are down $20. Oh, we got the capacity utilization numbers coming out. Hold on. We got industrial production numbers dropping pretty soon, I think, here. Yeah, we got 3 minutes before industrial production numbers. I forgot about this. All right, so we just jumped back into this here. It's a little risky here for me to hold through industrial production numbers, but I'm trying not to get faked out, which is a little bit more difficult today with the chop. Yeah, I'm just going to wait. We got industrial production numbers coming out, so I'm just going to cut it. Very small. Yeah, industrial production numbers dropped. They're expected at 0% month over month. Last time they were 0%. We also have business inventories coming out at 47 minutes, but we got like industrial capacity utilization and manufacturing production numbers. So these shouldn't move markets, I don't think, but they could. We'll wait and see, but they could. Yeah, let me put it up in Discord, Pawn. My bad, dude. Hold on. I haven't even opened it yet. Yeah, so the president said pharma tariffs are coming soon. Kraft Heinz is getting rid of synthetic dyes across the remaining 10% of its portfolio that has them. Eli Lilly deal to buy CRISPR gene biotech company. Kirkland's is going to shutter stores and convert locations to Bed Bath & Beyond. Is BBBY stores still around? Who knew? All right, there's the numbers in 15 seconds. We'll see what this shows up as. I don't think this is going to move markets unless it comes in like a shocking amount over or under expected. It's expected at 0% for industrial production month over month. Comes out in 5 seconds. All right, there's the numbers right here. Industrial production. Yeah, they showed up at minus 0.2%. I'm sorry, minus 0.2% for industrial production. Capacity utilization showed up slightly lower. Manufacturing production showed up as expected at 0.1%. Industrial production a little bit weaker. And we did react negatively here to this. Look at this. Showing signs of a slowing economy, but I'm gonna short this, I guess. Might as well, right? There we go. We added to it, but I'm gonna cut it right there. So we made money on the trade, but very small. Like we're kind of trading light this morning with 14 minutes into the open, and it looks like cutting it there was the right thing. All right, guys. Hey, we got about 13 minutes left. Yeah, so Thursday, 12 p.m. early close, 5 p.m. regular open. For June 20th. Okay, so it's limited hours on Thursday. So markets are open, I guess, but limited hours. I guess it kind of shows the limits of AI. Let's grow AI. Say, hey, many people are saying the market's on a half day. Yeah, so futures are open half day, but everything else is closed. It says it's closed during the daytime. Ooh. Yeah, so it's a half day. I don't know if I'm going to trade at all, but we'll see. All right, guys, we got 10 minutes until the market opens. Yeah, we did have industrial production numbers show up a little bit weaker than expected, but the market's so sideways, it's hard to make any longer-term day trading decision based off of the chop, unless you're attacking the top and bottom of the range. We're testing that 2050 level again, but when we zoom out, I mean, we're very, like, the range isn't necessarily, like, tiny, but this is the price action. You know, I just don't know how good that is. Starting to creep back up. Let's see. Let's watch 50. 2205. I mean, yeah, so retail sales slump in May is only showing the demand cliff post front loading. Quote, you don't buy a car every month. It is yet to show demand erosion from the tariff cost pass through. Year to date, U.S. retail sales are down 13% year over year. All right, still climbing back up here. Let's watch 63s. You can see the SPY up there. Watching Tesla. I'm watching Nvidia as well. We got 8 minutes, give or take. Yeah, we're sitting tight here. I mean, it's a little boring. We're going to trade the live at the opening bell, though. So... look at that dip. Let's see if we bounce at 50. Looks big, but I think it's honestly still a pretty small candle, all things considered. Look at Nvidia breakdown, though, so that might be driving this. Look at Nvidia. Nvidia at 144.30s. Oil is up after the president talks down prospect of a truce. And if we look at oil here, yeah, oil's up a little bit today. Slightly green on the day, though. It's not like crazy green. All right, so key drivers for today's opening bell with 7 minutes left. We're going to start doing this every day, you know, within the 10 minutes of the opening bell. So the problems starting today or the problems for today's opening bell: geopolitical risk. Tensions between overseas in the Middle East have escalated, prompting the president to leave the G7 summit. People are worried about that. The Fed is on hold. The Federal Reserve is widely expected to maintain rates tomorrow. Markets eyeing possible cuts. Late this year, investors are paying close attention to the dot plot and forward guidance. May retail sales report came out earlier at 8:30. It was weaker everywhere than expected. Didn't really cause this big bearish outcome that a lot of people expected, though. Oil has surged to almost $72 a share, mostly from the conflict news overseas. 10-year treasury yields down to 4.41, 4.42% today. Amazon down after announcing a 4-day Prime Day event. Meta's down slightly after going up a lot yesterday. Palantir, modest gains. Oracle down 0.5%. Chevron and Exxon going up because of reduced EV credits. Solar companies and EV companies are down a little bit, I think. AMD's been pumping up all morning, but honestly has dropped pretty significantly just now. Look at this drop in AMD and other Nvidia and microchip stocks. So just be careful today. Again, we got less than 5 minutes now into the opening bell, so just be careful. I'm trading futures, NASDAQ 100 futures contract. Micro NASDAQ is what this is. The FOMC decision's tomorrow. Today's Tuesday. The FOMC decision is Wednesday. All right, guys. Hey, 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Be ready. All right, guys, we got 3.5 minutes left. 3.5 minutes. Johnson & Johnson is seeking U.S. FDA approval of one of their drugs for the treatment of pediatric Crohn's disease. Seeing more conflict news overseas. All right, guys, here we go. 3 minutes. Salesforce announced it is raising prices for enterprise and unlimited editions effective August 1st. Netflix will open 2 Netflix houses in Philly and Dallas in late 25 and will be expanding with a 3rd location in Vegas in 2027. Netflix house. What does that mean? All right, so Netflix house. Netflix house will unveil its first 2 locations. Galleria Dallas, Philadelphia. It's a permanent year-round home for fans that bring some of our most popular shows and movies to life. Wednesday, Stranger Things. And so it seems like some type of like some type of Disney World-esque theme park for Netflix. All right, so NASDAQ started to push up ahead of the opening bell. Look at the SPY climb. Nvidia, Apple down. Why is the market climbing? What's driving the market higher here, chat? Nvidia, AMD, Apple, Google. Netflix, Amazon. Amazon's up, but Meta, Microsoft. I don't really see much. All right, guys, we got 1 minute left. XAI is in talks to raise $4.3 billion in equity funding, according to Bloomberg. All right, opening bell. We got 20 seconds, chat. Three, two, one. There's the opening bell. All right, look at the rip. Market's been ripping at the opening bell. Yesterday it did the same thing. Look at this rise. There's 22 ones right here. Over that now. Microsoft up. SPY up. Nvidia climbing. AMD's down, Apple's up, Amazon's up, Google's up, Microsoft's up, Tesla's down. I'm just glad we see some volatility here. I'd rather something than nothing. It's too early for me to trade, though. I would like buy this little pullback, but it's too early for me to trade. I gotta give some time first. The imbalance should have been minus 274.9 million. NASDAQ for the S&P, NASDAQ minus 29.6. Dow minus 59.3. Mag 7 minus 15.3. All right, we're 2.5 minutes. A lot of stuff turned. Amazon's still up, though. Apple is flat since the bell. Microsoft's flat. Google's flat. Tesla's down. So, honestly, a surprising amount of stuff turned the other way. So... Yep. I'm going to short here. I'm going to start small. We're kind of uncertain here. Like, I would add to it, but it's retraced so much. I'm not really interested in like finding it if it retraces. It's retraced too much, just simply too much. Might come back down, but we got out basically flat there. I think that's fine. Amazon's pumping up. Kind of mixed here. Like AMD dipping down. Microsoft's recharging up. Tesla's down pretty significant. Tesla's actually kind of flat here. We'll try it again, but I'll hold it break even now. I want to give it a chance to break down larger, but it's struggling to. I'm going to cut it right there, flat. Made a little bit on it actually, but it's too, like, this is too perfect right here. Like 1, 2, 3, 4 higher trend lines. It might still break down, but I don't like it. Very mixed too. Like Microsoft's up, Tesla's starting to climb back, Apple's breaking down. Very sideways. Still a higher high here too. I'm gonna try shorting this now. That breaks the trend line. We'll add to it here. See if we get something good. There we go. Like I want to give it a chance to break. There we go. There we go. That's better. I took a little bit more off there. We're gonna add a little pop. The problem is it could rip any moment now. That's what I'm nervous about. But it could also break down any moment too. So I want to give it that chance. But yeah, I'm gonna cut that. Yeah, I mean, usually I've been doing pretty good in pre-market building up a cushion. Today was one of those days I couldn't, so I don't know if that's indicative of just not the best action today. Probably so. Well, we got in this short, and we immediately green, but look at that retracement back up there. There we go. All right, so we're green since the open. Not a lot, but it's been hard to track. It looks weak, but look at Nvidia rip up here, though. That's the only kind of like a wild card here. If Nvidia starts to rise, it's going to push this higher potentially. Yeah, there's the pop higher. Here's 85. Let's see if it rejects here. It seems heavy to me, but you know, if Nvidia runs, it doesn't matter. Odds of a rate cut are not that high. I don't know. Maybe with the added data, I haven't looked at it yet with the weaker retail sales. Yeah, what I'm showing is odds of a rate cut are 0.2% likelihood of a cut, which is not very likely, of course. I'm gonna short this. It might be a little crazy of a position, but let's see if we can go green. Yeah. We'll give it a second. That's better, but I want to see if it retraces. There we go. All right, much better. All right, so we're green on the day now. We did catch it, but it took a little bit of work. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was weird. Is that news related or no? That was weird. Stream's running smooth. Look at this breakdown here. Nvidia falling too. Wow. Yeah, tomorrow 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the rate decision is. Yeah, so the FOMC is a 2-day thing. The press conference and rate decision is going to be tomorrow at 2 p.m. and 2:30. So that's what's going on. I mean, the FOMC might start today, but it's not gonna. They're not gonna give us the rate decision and press conference until tomorrow at 2 and 2:30. Also, guys, again, if you haven't already, check out Topstep. Beautiful way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose. And listen, like, I understand how it goes. Like, most day traders lose money. People selling you courses want to make you believe that it's the greatest course ever. If you just buy their course, you know, you could get rich day trading, you know. Most of that's nonsense. It takes years to learn. You lose most of that time. And so you can either fund your own account trying to look cool, or you can try something like this. If you lose the Topstep base one, it's $50. If you pass it, you get a $50K funded account, 90% split, and they pay out millions, fund thousands. Great way to learn. Zero commission on Topstep X as well. So you can trade these micro contracts like I'm doing and trade small and steady and ease into it, which is the right way to do it. But again, I'm biased because they pay me money. So, of course, I'm biased. Understand all this stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart, guys. Can't guarantee anything. But just a beautiful way to learn. Beautiful way to learn. And yeah, look at the market starting to flush out. If you want to check it out, here's the link. Yeah, we had retail sales come in weak for sure. We're starting to get some volatility though. I might start buying here though, to be honest, but I'll give it a second. There's one contract here. Look at that immediate retracement up. I mean, I'm going to take profit if we bounce back up that quickly, but very small day so far. Look at that bounce. 25. The GOAT level right here. Look at that 25 level. What indicators? Oh, yeah. I mean, they probably do. I don't know. I haven't checked them. Yeah, I mean, so Nick says, how do you feel about... Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to answer that. Again, I'm sponsored by Topstep right now. And I think Topstep's the most legit, has the best rules anyway. But, you know, I'm not going to go into how I feel about other ones. That's not really professional, in my opinion. Tesla down at 322s. So we did get that pop up here. We're starting to see like a pretty deep rebound back up here. Hey, what's up, Tiny? Hope you're doing good. Hope your morning's going well. Again, I believe in chop today. I think we're probably gonna get choppiness. It's the day before the FOMC meeting. It's not a shock if we get choppiness, you know. Ugh. Amazon popping up 217s. Looks a little heavy here. I'm watching this level too, this 63, because that's a previous like confirmed level. We've seen a lot. Yep. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe it just ripped up. Yeah, still looks heavy, I guess, but it's so small range. Yeah, I mean, Microsoft's down a little bit since the opening bell. Tesla is up to... Tesla's down. Amazon's up. Apple's down. AMD's flat. Google's down. So that's what we got right now. I don't think we have any 10 a.m. data either. Hold on, let me check. Let me make sure. We got business inventories. Expected at 0%. Housing market index for NHAB as well. Nothing really big. Tomorrow's the biggest day of the week. Friday's not small either. Friday we got... Wait, do we have jobless claims tomorrow or no? Because what I'm showing here... Alright, hold on. Yeah, I'm sure we got jobless claims tomorrow. 246 is what they're expected. Bond auction sales? Yeah, maybe. Hey, nice. Nick, good job, bro. Yeah, I'm showing it as well. We got jobless claims tomorrow instead of Thursday, which makes more sense. But who knows? We'll see. We got the LSU game today at 10 a.m. Yeah, market seems very sideways range today. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, Bitcoin down to 105s. Yeah, retail sales weak. I mean, I'm slightly green on this account. I don't know what I want to do with it though. I'm gonna short this, I think. The reason I'm shorting is because I don't think we're gonna run ahead of the economic reports. Here we go. Yep. I mean, we just made a pretty, like a good amount, like 20 ticks or so very quickly. So we're just going to cover that immediately. I think we're going to range for the next 5 minutes, but I might be wrong. Don't copy me, not an investment professional. All right, so the current administration is said to consider a crackdown on pharma adverts. What's like PFE doing? It's down. Okay, that makes sense. Look how sideways the SPY is. This is what I told people early this morning, and this is kind of what we're getting today. It's not a shock here. Like, look, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We got a rectangular range here. Four minutes left until, what do we got today? It's, what is it, like business inventories? Yeah, business inventories expected at 0%. 0%. Saw where people overseas were floored that we actually had adverts. Yeah, I've seen that too. Microsoft popping up a little bit though. Look at Microsoft pop, Nvidia pop up a little bit here. Yeah, so the president considering crackdown on pharma. Indices weighed on as conflict news dominates amid a mixed retail sales report. I didn't see it as mixed. I thought it was negative. I mean, we're still green year over year for most. Hold on. Apple pushing up. We got about 2.5 minutes left until retail or until business inventories drop. I don't know how much this is going to move markets. I mean, I'll stick around just because it's in 2 minutes, 3 minutes to cover it. But I don't think it's like a big report here. Are you guys risk on or risk off right now? Like, y'all think it's time to buy or time to wait? Y'all see my levels working. They're in play. I mean, I'm bragging about it, but realistically, they work the best when we're sideways because that's when the ranges and the levels are going to hold the most weight, if that makes sense. And so, of course, I'm going to brag about it right now, but when the market pushes up like this, or hold on, whoa. When the market goes like this, and my levels are just broken through, there's going to be crickets in here. All right, guys. Hey, we got a minute and a half left. I buy every week. Too many negative things going on. Generational pricing this year. Yeah, I mean, that's usually all. Anybody that buys and holds usually over time is going to make money. I always say the same thing. The longer you hold a long position in the stock market, if you're buying indices or blue chips, the more likely you are to make money. The longer you hold a short position in indices or blue chips, the less likely you are to make money. Let's just be real here, and that's a very uncomfortable stat for a lot of people who are so biased on the short side, right? Because they know it's true deep down in their heart. They know the stock market's going to go up over time. There's too little edge, in my opinion, shorting catching big crashes. You know, there's so little edge that when somebody does it successfully, they make freaking movies about it, you know. And so I'd rather get it on the more edge weighted side, if that makes sense. We got 30 seconds left. But again, not an investment professional. Market might crash tomorrow. I have no freaking idea. Hey, we got 20 seconds. After this, we're just going to cut out of here. All right, guys. Business inventories expected at 0%. Retail inventories expected at 0.3 for core. So 3, 2, 1, and here's the report. 0% as expected on both metrics. The NAHB housing market index showed up at 32 versus 36, a little bit weaker than expected, but the market did react positively to this so far. At least sometimes the first move is the wrong move. But business inventory 0%, retail inventories core, excluding auto, at least 0.3%. Housing market index showed up at 32 versus 36. I'm gonna ride out, guys. Listen, tomorrow we got the Fed meeting, jobless claims, and more. Right? Tomorrow we got the Fed meeting, jobless claims, housing starts, building permits, MBA 30-year mortgage rates. We got European CPI dropping early in the morning. England CPI earlier than that. So it's honestly a pretty busy day tomorrow. Stick around. Watch the stream. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Again, if you want to check out Topstep, beautiful way to learn day trading when most day traders lose. Check them out. Link is in the description. I love you all. Y'all have a great day. Be safe. Market sideways. Y'all be safe. I'll see you guys later.